lying halfway underneath something concrete. Then it got discovered, covered with smoke, and then the light bulb flicked out again. I bent down to pull the shoe from under the concrete, tugged and pulled at it, but it felt like someone was pulling back. All the hair on my head jumped up to attention. The light flickered back on and the smoke cleared, and I could see that hanging on to the other end of the shoe was a giant gray hand with cold, hard, square fingers. I looked up and saw a familiar guy, and before he got covered with smoke, he looked at me, and I saw he had big square shoulders and nothing where his face should have been. The Wolfoo. Oh man. I gave the shoe one more good hard tug, and it popped loose from a frilly white sock. I got real scared. I walked as slowly and quietly as I could out of the church. Maybe if I moved quietly, he wouldn't come for me. Maybe if I walked and didn't look back, he'd leave me alone. I walked past where the adults were still screaming and pointing. I walked past where that guy had said the little girl in blue, right next to where someone else had said a little girl in red. I knew if Joey sat down next to those two, their dresses would make the red, white, and blue of the American flag. Grown-ups were kneeling down by them, and the adults' hands fluttered down toward the little girls. Then, before they touched anything, fluttered back up over and over. Their hands looked like a little flock of brown sparrows that were too nervous to land. I walked past people lying on the ground in little balls on the grass, crying and twitching. I walked past people squeezing each other and shaking. I walked past people hugging trees and telephone poles, looking like they were afraid they might fly off the earth if they let go. I walked past a million people with their mouths wide open and no sound coming out. I didn't look behind me. I walked back as quick as I could to Grandma Sam's house. I felt like I floated up the front steps, and I made sure the screen door didn't slam and took my shoes off and went in and sat on my bed. I hadn't remembered to make it that morning, so I got up and tucked the sheets in and fluffed up the pillow like Mama does. I sat back on the bed and looked down at my hands. They were acting like nervous little sparrows too, so I squeezed them between my knees. I reached into my pocket and took out the shiny, shiny shoe. When me and the Wolfoo were trying to grab it away from each other, the back part had gotten ripped. Man, the shoe was ripped like it was made out of paper. The picture of the little white boy with the girl's hairdo and the dog was torn in half too. All that was left was the dog smiling at me like he'd just eaten a cat. I tried to remember if I'd been mean to Joey this morning. I guess I hadn't. I never did tell her how she helped Byron save my life in the water. Guess I should have. Where'd you go? How'd you get back here so fast? How can you change your clothes? My ears had finally decided to work again. I looked up toward the door, but stopped looking when I saw her white, frilly socks standing on the wooden floor in front of my door. I guess the Wolfoo was taking Joey around for her last visit. I was afraid to look up. I was afraid to look at her face. I knew I'd see the Wolfoo's rope tied around her waist. Hi, Joey, was all I could think of saying. Where's Mommy and Dad? Oh, you'll probably see them next. He takes you around to see your family before you go. She sat beside me on the bed. I still wouldn't look at her. I dropped the shoe and used my knees to stop the sparrows from fluttering around. Oh man, this was very scary. I'd seen the two little girls on the grass in their red blue dresses, and I didn't want to see my little sister that way too. What's wrong with you, Kenny? How come you're looking so funny? I guess I should have told you thanks for saving my life, huh? Is it too late to tell you that? Joey didn't say anything for a second, then got up off the bed. Why are you acting so crazy? Where are Mommy and Daddy? What's that you dropped? What are you trying to hide? She picked her shoe up from where I dropped it. Oh, Kenny, whose shoe is this? What did you do to it? It's yours, Joey. I got it from the Wolfoo. You better quit trying to scare me, Kenny, or I'm going to tell Mama. This better not be my shoe, or you're a big trouble buster. Joey walked out of the room, but I still couldn't look at her. The Wolfoo was pulled, stopped at her. Joey? After a second, she came back into my bedroom. What? She was sounding real mean. I didn't look up. I kept looking at my hands. I love you. That shiny, ripped black shoe hit me right in the chest. Whose shoe is that? I finally looked up to see what Joey looked like. There were no ropes around her waist, and nobody with square toes was hanging around. But what really surprised me was that Joey had both her shiny black shoes in her hands. She'd taken them off at the front door. Kenneth Bernard Watson, you You better tell me what's going on, or I'm really gonna tell. I'm not playing with you. Joey was imitating Mama so much that she didn't say Bernard. She said Bernard. Joey, didn't you go to Sunday school? You know I did. Oh, you know what happened? Joey sat down next to me. Kenny, I'm not playing with you. Why are you acting so weird? Her voice was starting to get all choky. Why are you still in that church? It was hot in there. It was so hot in there that I went and stood on the porch and saw you. Saw me where? Kenny, you better stop this nonsense. You know you waved at me from across the street. You know when I tried to come to you, you kept laughing and running in front of me. You know how I chased you all the way down that street? Joey got a funny look on her face. But you had on different clothes. Joey's voice was getting higher with everything she said, and when she was done, she sounded real crazy. Joey, that's it. You're through this time, mister. You don't know when to stop teasing, do you? That's it. I'm telling you, stop. Joey stood up and ran up the stairs, screaming, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. I could hear Grandma Sands moving around upstairs, but she finally climbed down the steps and came into my room. Joey was hanging on her arms, still screaming. Grandma Sands must have real thin blood because even though it was as hot as a furnace in the house, she had on a big, thick nightgown and a thick robe. The smell of baby powder came into the room a second after she did. What on earth are y'all doing raising this much cane this early in the morning? Joetta, honey, stop that noise. Kenny, what's wrong with this child? Joetta finally said, he's trying to scare me, Grandma Sands. He won't tell me where Mommy is. Joey kept boo-hooing like a real idiot. Kenneth, where's Willona and Daniel? Grandma Sands pulled Joey off her leg and held her shoulders. I gave her a little shrug. Shake. Joetta, you stop that noise. Grandma Sands can't handle that much noise this early, sweetheart. A bell went off in my head. The wolf who had missed Joey wasn't having much luck at all with any of the weird Watsons. I had to go to the church and get Mama, Dad, and Byron. Grandma Sands said, what are all them sirens doing? Oh, is the whole world gone mad today? Where's your Mama and Daddy? The last thing I heard was Grandma Sands yell, boy, if you slam that door like that again. I looked down and saw my socks flying over the Alabama mud.
In chapter 14 so far that we've just read about. Turn the book.
There was like, I guess they was coming from, getting ready to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was getting ready for Sunday school, but a bomb went off and confused everybody. So then they was trying to figure out what it was, and then by the time they tried to figure out what it was, most of the city swarmed to the scene, and they discovered a few little girls' dead bodies, and Kenny seems like he's in shock.
So basically in chapter 14, we see that it's Sunday and the family is getting ready to go to church. But however, Joey or Joetta, the little sister, she goes to Sunday school before everyone else. While Joella is at school, she's at Sunday school, the rest of the family's at the house, and they hear this loud boom that takes place. So in Kenny's mind, the boom is something that's just a prank from Byron, or it's just something that's normal. It's nothing that to alarm him. But as you can see, as the dad comes out and as Byron comes out, they see that it's not a joke, it's not a prank. They see that it's something very serious going on. So like Sarah said, the church that Jordan went to, it was bombed. Okay? And so I know we talked about earlier that the book was fiction and how some events in the book that took place were real. This is one of those real events that took place. So this did happen in real life. It was a big part of something that's called the Civil Rights Movement. Have you all ever heard of that? Okay, so this event is called the 16th Street Church Bombing, and right now we're gonna watch another video on it. And give you guys just a little bit more insight of what actually took place.
They came to Birmingham 16th Street Baptist Church today to reflect. That Sunday in 1963, love and forgiveness would be put to the test. A bomb planted by a white supremacist ripped through the building. 200 people were inside. 22 were injured. Denise McNair, Carol Robertson, Addie Mae Collins, and Cynthia Wesley. 4 little girls, all under the age of 15, were killed. Former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, a Birmingham native, was a friend of Denise McNair.
I said to my parents as the events were unfolding on television, why did they kill them? And I remember my father simply saying, they're hateful men. They're just hateful men.
The horrific attack shocked the nation, making America take a deep look at racial inequality and injustice. It also strengthened the civil rights movement and helped influence the passage of the landmark Civil Rights Bill of 1964. But today in Birmingham, they can't remember.
In looking forward, it is truly that we honor their sacrifice. If we remember that equality and justice for all, written in the Constitution, is actually not just a piece of paper, but something that each and every one of us must live each and every day.
4 lives cut short, 4 little girls whose untimely deaths helped change the course of the nation. For CBS News, Natalie Tehet, Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay. And so basically, from the video, it just gives you more insight of what happened that day at the 16th Street bombing. 4 little girls around the same age as Joey, they died, which is why Kenny was in such a frantic when he saw like their little frilly socks, because Joey had those exact same things on when the bombing took place. Okay. So now we're gonna do just a little worksheet about the civil rights movement, and just to give you all a little bit more insight of what it is, and one of the founding fathers of it is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. So it says every January, schools and many government offices close down to honor the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Students appreciate Martin Luther King Day and many other holidays, mostly because they give them a break from school. However, there's deeper reasons to be thankful on MLK Day. Let's look at King's inspirational character, his accomplishments, and the ways in which he improved our country and our lives. Born on January 15, 1929, King was the 3rd generation of men in his family to graduate with honor from Morehouse College. He distinguished himself for his academic and theological excellence at Crozer Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania, and then went on to earn his doctorate from Boston University. He met and married Coretta Scott in Boston, and together they raised 2 daughters and 2 sons. King became the pastor of a Baptist church in Montgomery, Alabama in 1954. Upset by the unjust way African Americans were treated, King decided to become actively involved in fighting for their civil rights. He was an executive member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, also known as the NAACP. When Rosa Parks was arrested in 1955 for refusing to give up her bus seat to a white passenger, King was asked to be the leader of a nonviolent bus boycott that lasted 382 days. In spite of dangerous attacks on his church, his home, and his family, King never lost faith or his determination. Though his home was bombed and he was arrested, he fearlessly led the fight. The boycott was successful, ending the separation of races on public transportation and making the whole nation aware of the need for the civil rights reform. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the questions at the bottom. It says, think about it. Do you think the things that Dr. King was fighting for were important? Why or why not?
I think they were important because, for the Rosa Parks bus boycott, like if she had refused to give her seat and then he led the nonviolent bus boycott, boycott today, it'd probably still be that way. And like now, kids can get on the bus anytime they want and like sit where they want to sit. But if like if both of them have done it, or like like after she was in jail, he hadn't helped her continue like the boycott, then we wouldn't be able to see what we wanted to see today.
Next, it said, would it be fair if your teacher treated people in your classroom with brown eyes differently than people with blue eyes? Why or why not?
Well, it wouldn't be fair because everybody's the same, and like just because eye color is different doesn't mean like people with blue eyes are better than people with brown and vice versa. So everybody should have like an equal chance for everything.
Okay. So do you all feel that the bombing of the 16th Street Church, do you think that it was racially motivated, meaning that they specifically targeted that church because black people went to it?
Yeah, because even in the video it said the bomb was planted by a white supremacist.
Okay, it says people sometimes do not get along because of their differences. Think of a time that someone was treated unfairly because of their race or culture.
This girl in my 5th grade class used to get like the kids in our homeroom when we used to do group work. They like didn't want her in our group, well in their group because she was Hispanic and she was the only Hispanic girl in our classroom. So they didn't want her in our like when we did group work. They didn't want to work with her.
Okay. So what do you think should have been done to prevent her from feeling left out or prevent her from being segregated from the rest of the class?
Well, my teacher would just assign her with like, she would still assign her with the people that, she wouldn't assign her with everybody like that, because everybody did not like her, but like, she would assign her with some kids that had a problem with her and then some kids that didn't, just so they'll learn to like, you can't, pick and choose who you want to work with in life.
Okay, so for our closing activity, you can take a sheet of paper and I want you to write down one thing that you learned today from the video, whether it be about the 16th Street bombing or just civil rights in general. It doesn't have to be anything long, it could be 1 to 3 sentences. Give Sarah a few more minutes. Okay, Cameron, would you like to share first?
Okay, so I learned that treating people unfairly and unjustly causes like a greater problem for society as a whole, and that in order to keep that from happening, you have to have people who are willing to stand up to fight for like change.
Sarah?
I learned that the bombing at the church happened to like innocent people, and they were just like expected to go to church and get out like a normal day. So like you just never know what could happen. But I learned that coming together helps bring about change, and when people come together, it helps bring about change, and it continues to carry on for generations. And I feel like without that happening, things would still be the same today as they were back then.
Well, that concludes our